Welcome to O People of the Book YouTube channel.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
Oh, people of the Book YouTube channel.
نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our people of the book, the usual Friday Tafsir of Juz Amma. I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody's fine. We're in the last 10, we're in the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. So for those of you who are able to fast, I hope you can fast because there's great blessings in there. And if you are, please make dua for us as well. Make dua for both of us because, obviously, we are doing this for the sake of Allah, and we need that Allah accepts our deeds, and also make dua that Allah, when we finish this, maybe we can share other things with you, maybe aqidah, maybe sira, maybe other things with you. Yeah. So please, if you are fasting, if you're not fasting, please make dua for us. Yeah. At the moment, I've got my assignments, so please make dua for me. I have to hand my assignments in 3 days' time, but I've been kind of I've delayed it, kind of thing. So make dua for me, and I suppose from your side. I just hope everything's okay. Dr. Farhat, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I hope everything's okay on your side. And you had to leave early last week. I think you had some problems with your internet. I hope everything is okay. And I wish you a warm welcome and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair. And yes, Alhamdulillah, everything is fine. And by the grace of Allah, we have entered into the month of Dhul Hajj, which is a very sacred month, but really important month for all the Muslims, especially in the perspective of the Hajj and the people who are this year have gone for the Hajj, and may Allah accept their efforts, sacrifices, and their worships. And definitely those who wouldn't be able to go there because of any reason, may Allah make them may Allah make them this tawfiq that they could be able to go for the Hajj as well. And definitely we know that this month, and we already have recently covered Surah Al-Fajr, where there's a description that these 10 days are really worth having, and worth, we can say, having the worth over all other days. I mean, when we talk about the nights of the Ramadan are really, I mean, highly valued in the eyes of Allah. But so far as the days are concerned, so these 10 days are really important. And there are so many azkar, just like takbirat, and there's many other azkar according to the Muslim methodology of the Prophet. We should offer that, and we should make dua, and we should keep ourselves busy into as many good deeds as we can, because we know when there are some special offers, when there are some special discounts, so we definitely should grab as much as we can. So there, here we have the discount, here we have the, I mean, special offers in these 10 days. And yes, we should try to fast for these 10 days, but at least on the Arafah day, that is basically really important that we should fast, because it's basically a compensation, a kafara for the 2 years since. So may Allah make us ability that we can, inshallah ta'ala, we can fast, and at least on the day of the Arafah. And definitely, just as you mentioned, mashallah, that the worships in this month, and especially in these 10 days, are accepted. So make dua for yourself, make dua for your family, for your friends, and for your akhirah, and especially for the people of Gaza, because they are in the crisis, and also the people of the Sudan, the people of the Yemen, and the people of wherever the Muslims are being oppressed. Make keep them in your duas as well. And definitely Allah has given us an ability and a chance that we are doing the, I mean, the Quran interpretation, Quran recitation during these days. And may Allah accept this effort, and may Allah make us able that we can give a reliable, a good knowledge, a beneficial knowledge to the people who are listening us, or will be listening us, or will be watching us later on. And may Allah able us to and enable us that we can follow these things which we are basically sharing with the others, and may Allah accept this of our effort are in His way. So, anything you would like to add? So, the house is yours.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, we're on Sotul Balad, and we're nearly finishing Sotul Balad. And as usual, Dr. Farhat will go through it and do a summary and everything. And then we'll carry on from where we are. We were near the end of it, so, we'll probably proceed to the next surah. So it's all in your hands, Dr. Farhat. It's all yours, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah, I'll be inshallah started, because of the some issue I have to change the place. So I was just collecting and gathering the data which I have to deliver. Yes, inshallah. Just as you mentioned that inshallah today we have to complete Surah Al Balad, and I don't remember where we have left. I guess these were the last few verses, but for the sake of revision, but for the sake of a review, we'll inshallah I'll give a whole summary of Surah Al Balad, and inshallah we'll try to cover. I guess that surah is very small surah, Surah Shams, that is having 15 verses, and inshallah we'll try to cover these two surahs inshallah in today's lecture. Let me share the text of the Quran. It's no, it's I guess it's entire screen. No, it's window, not window. I guess. I every time I forget that which pattern I have to follow. Every time I forget. Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah,
I'll
the
be
one,
inshallah.
the ones that you've opened.
Share screen,
Yes.
and then
Then you have the list of whatever you have open on your desktop there.
here is a window, entire screen. I
No,
guess
not
we,
the
we
entire
can go
screen.
with the
I think
yes
window, isn't it?
window. Yes, window.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, inshallah ta'ala, first will be inshallah completing or giving a summary of Surah Al Balad, and then inshallah will be moving to Surah Shams. Let's start. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Just as we mentioned in the previous class and the previous session, that Surah Al Balad means it's a city, and it contains. It has been placed at the 90th number in the Quran. And just as it's because of its name, Al Balad, the city. I mean, here, the city of Makkah, Allah Almighty has taken the surveyor of the city of the Makkah in this surah. And just when we know that the patron of the Quranic recitation, especially in the terms of the 30th juz, that whenever Allah Almighty is would like to say something worth, I mean, we know that these are the words of Allah, this is the kalam of Allah, and every verse, every word of Allah is really precious and really worth having a worth. But when Allah Almighty is would like to warn people, the human being, about something, who basically he Allah Almighty is basically taking this away. So just like the pattern we have been looking at the from last few surahs, that Allah Almighty is taking this aware at the start of the surahs. So same goes with this Surah Al-Balad, that Allah Almighty has swear by the city of Makkah, because this city is really important historically, and from the perspective of the Sharia, and from the perspective of the completion of the Deen of Allah. So Allah Almighty is taking this aware. And then the sacredness of the city, I mean the holiness of the city, has been also being mentioned in the end, why it is being made halal or made lawful only for the Prophet ﷺ. Said, "Wa anta hillum bihadal balad." I mean, this is basically have made halal for you. The city has been only halal for you, and we know many of the interpretation, classical interpretation, basically says that this hilla was being made halal for the Prophet, or legal on the day of the conquest of the Makkah. Then Allah Almighty is surveying with the human nature and human, we can say, pattern which all human being going through. That is وَوَلِدُ وَمَا وَلَدَ, and I mean the one who has taken birth and the one who has given the birth, the begetter and the begotten, the one who is begot. So it is basically, we can say, as you can see that the text over here is mentioned about the first father and the first his generation, that is the Adam, or the Adam alayhi salam, and later on his generation. But there are some other, we can say, interpretation regarding this verse, that any one who is being begot, or who is basically begetter. So this is basically Allah Almighty is surveying by the pattern, how the human race or human beings are being given life, and this world has been going through with this process of the walad and the walid. So then Allah Almighty is saying, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. I mean, after taking the surveyor by the city of Makkah, and how the city is lawful for the Prophet, because this is the time of the completion of the Sharia of Allah Almighty. So Allah Almighty is saying that you should remember that how you have been given life, and how you have been sent into this world as a series of the lineage from the first man, that was Adam, and then all later on, the one who gives life, and the one who takes the life from it, is going through this process. And this why? Because the man has been made in a toil, and man has been made in a hardships. And this hardships, I mean, here is, we can say, Allah Almighty is making a question mark, that you are in. You should remember that this world is not a place of enjoyment, luxuries, and enjoying the life. Rather, it is basically the life of a toil. Okay, trial of what? Trial of giving your effort, or sacrificing your desire, sacrificing your luxuries, your enjoyment, just to fulfill your purpose which you have brought into this world. So when you are not fulfilling, I mean, when any man is basically considering himself to be the above of this purpose which he has been given by the Allah Almighty, then Allah Almighty is saying, "Ayathub an la yaqdir alayhi ahad." I mean, the man, he has been created with a child, but he thinks that no one can overcome him. And when he considered himself to be the superior and the highest of all others, so he basically having the assumption that he can do anything, no one can grab him or no one can overcome him. And yakulu, I mean, this is the psychology of the man has been mentioned. Yakulu ahlaktu mal al-lubad. So he says, I have wasted wealth in the abundance. So I mean, this could be, I mean, say we can say that this could be on the day of the judgment when he will be facing the consequences of his deeds and his practices. So this will be his desire on the day of judgment, and he will say that I have wasted my life, and I have wasted my wealth in a very wrongful way. But when it comes to his life, ayathu an lam yarahu ahad. When he was living his life into this world, he thinks that no one can see him, no one can overcome him. So we can say that the verse number 5 and the 7 are interlinked. In between, this has been his desire has been mentioned in the verse number 6, that in the world he was considering he is all in all, no one can overpower him and no one can even see him. And he forget that Allah, who has the creator of everything, he has given him what? Alam naj'al lahu aynayn. We have given him two eyes. I mean, his two eyes from which he can see the others. So why don't he think that he should also be accountable what he has been looking with his own eyes? Then walisan wa shafatain, and he has been given tongue to express what he has been basically watching, what he has been looking in the terms of the sense. So where he should, when consider himself to be all in all or over and the powerful, and consider that no one is having power, no one is having can look at him, so he should see, he should bear in the mind that there are two eyes who are looking what he has been doing. And there is his lips, there are his shafatan who will be giving witness on the day of judgment about what he is doing into this world. So let me open the text. So then وَهَدَيْنَهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. And we have, I mean, after giving two eyes and the lips, Allah Almighty is saying وَهَدَيْنَهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. I mean, we have shown him the two ways. Brother Jamal, would you like to add something? Because I
Oh no.
guess voices are coming from your side. Jazakallah khair. So I was just compiling Surah Al-Balad, that after mentioning the two eyes and the lips, Allah Almighty is saying that he should bear in the mind وَهَدَيْنَهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ, and we have shown him the two ways. I mean, the good way and the bad way. Now its choice will be his or her, that he which way he basically going to opt. Then فَلَقْتَحَمَ أَقَبَ, Aqaba. And when we say Aqaba, it means it's a path which is basically a hardship, or the path that can lead him to the goodness or the success. So but he has, I mean, Fala means he has not basically tried into this world to the path of the success or to the path of the goodness. Why? Because ma adraka mal aqab, I mean, Allah Almighty is raising question because you don't know what is the Aqaba. And Aqaba is, we know that in the many places of the Quran, this type of question has been raised, just like Wama Adraka Ma Laylatul Qadr. So here Allah Almighty himself is basically have explained the concept. So same goes with here, that how should you can understand that what the Aqaba is. Then Allah Almighty is answering, giving the explanation of the Aqaba, that this is the path is I mean, having the destination, very good destination, and the goodness at the end, the success, but it is very difficult to be followed. I mean, when we are on the right path, when we are following the deen of Allah and the path of Allah, it is really difficult, because in this case you will have to sacrifice physically, financially. I mean, you have to sacrifice so much. So fakku raqaba. I mean, he have to. I mean, while following the path of Aqaba, he has to free the neck. He have to free the slave. I mean, he has to spend in the way of Allah. And أو إطعامه في يوم ذي مثغبة, and he has to sacrifice his food when he himself or his hunger, when during the time of the hunger he has enough food for only himself, but if he sacrifice, so this is basically the path of the Aqaba. I mean, then you can see the sequence, mashallah, is very good, that Aqaba, Raqaba, and Masbagha. So this basically is a sequence is being made, that this is Aqaba, but for this you have to do Raqaba, then you have to do masghaba. So this is basically giving, freeing a slave, then giving food on the day of the hunger, then yatim and the maqraba. The same sequence is going over here as well. I mean, aqaba, raqaba, masghaba, and then maqraba. Yatiman, we know that the orphan, and to an orphan near of the kin. I mean, to greet and to treat well the orphanage in your custody or in your surrounding. Then miskina da matroba. I mean, again the sequence is going on the part of the Aqaba, and these are the things you have to do into this world, and these are not easy thing. I mean, we are very comfortable by reading this thing, but when we go through in our lives and sacrificing our money, sacrificing our time, our energies to fulfill this part of the Aqaba, that is it. That is not the piece of the cake. And we say them miskina da matroba, and to giving your, I mean, to help out the a needy person or miskin. A needy person, I mean, out of, I mean, bringing him out of his misery. When someone is in the need, if you bring him out of his need, so this is basically a مسكين ذا مطربة. ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة. Then after qualifying all these qualities, after giving the sacrifices of all this financial, material, and the physical services, then you will be the one who are those ثم كان من الذين آمنوا, those who became one of those who believed in the Islamic monotheism. These are the people who are the believers, who are the mu'mineen. I mean, after qualifying the itham, or after qualifying the tima the makraba, or qualifying the maskina the matraba, then you become a believer. ثم كان من الذين آمنوا, you will become believer, and not only believer, brother, after going through so many patients, you will become وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة. I mean, you will become the one, those who believe in the Islamic monotheism and recommend one another to preserve. I mean, what the preservance of the patience, and also the recommending one another to the piety and the compassion. I mean, when you qualify all these things, when you go through sacrificing all these things, you become believer. The believer who is very strong. I mean, he is very patient. He is very I mean, compassionate, and he is very not only compassionate and having patience for his own self, but he also can guide others, that how you can make sabr, how you can be a patient person, and how you can also be a compassionate person. So these who basically qualified all these, ani mafkhaba, maqraba, matraba, and then after becoming abil marahma, so this will become ulaika ashab al maymana, and these are those successfully will be considered are the people of the right hand. And we know in the Surah Al-Waqi'ah there is a description that the Ashabul Maymana are those who will be given their book of deeds on their right hand, and they will be the successful people. So here mentioning that the point is that after going through all these sacrifices, the one become the one who will be having his book of deeds on the right hand. I mean, the Ashabul Maymana. And then definitely when there will be the description of the people of the believer people, then there will be the opposite group also being mentioned, just وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِنَا هُمْ أَصْحَابُ الْمَشْأَمَةِ. I mean, when there is a description of the Maymana, there's also description of the Mash'ama as well. So those who reject our instructions. I mean, we know that the ayat of the Allah are in the form of the injunctions or the instructions. They are basically prescribed. They are basically obligation become obligation. So Allah Almighty is saying, not only making fun of the description, rather they basically they disbelieve and they reject the ayat of Allah, the instructions of Allah. They are those who are considered to be the ashabul mash'ama. I mean, the right left hand people, the people who will be giving their will be given their the book of these into the left hand, and then what will be their destination? Alayhim narun mu'sada, and the fire will be shut over them. I mean, that they will be sent into the hellfire, and they will be I mean enveloped by the fire with the door and opening of the window over there. So this will be their destination. So if we could just summarize, we could just compile the whole surah. It's basically about the two people, the two kind of the groups. One is a group of the believers, and the other is the group of the non-believers. Brother Jamal, if you could like to add something, because I have to connect my laptop with the charger. So meanwhile, I will connect that. And if you would like to add in this surah, otherwise we can just move to the Surah Shams.
Yeah, okay. I was just kind of like, going through it as well. And when we come to the end here, we see that Sheikh Sadi as well mentioned in verse 19, those who disbelieve our signs by throwing these matters behind their backs, they do not believe in Allah, neither did they work righteous deeds. They are the companion of the left. So the companions of the right and the companions of the left. Above them is a sealed vault of fire, hemming them in towering columns, extending them from behind. Hence, its gates can never be reopened, and they are caged, confined in a constricted area, living on in despair and torment. This is the last three verses there, where Sheikh Sadi actually mentions about those who disbelieve. Yeah, we've spoken about those who believe, and then he mentions here about those who disbelieve. And I think the other Sahaba as well, the other scholars as well, they mention the same thing with regards to I was looking at this now. Mu'sada means shut. Ibn Abbas says it will be closed. Dahak said Mu'sada will be sealed over them, like it has no door. And Qatada says Mu'sada, it will be shut, and there will be no light in it, no escape, and no way out forever. This is the end of the tafsir of Balad. This is what it says. Anyway, so Dr. Farhat, you're back, so I'll leave it to you again now.
Okay, so if we, I mean, this is all about if Surah Balad, and if we just make a continuation of the Surah Al Fajr, Surah Al Balad, and Surah Shams. So there is, we know that there is a book of Jalaluddin Suyuti. I mean, there is a, sorry, I forgot the name of his book, where he basically mentions that the every surah of the Quran is complementing to the surah coming to next, and then also giving we can say a conclusion to the previous surah. So same goes with these. If we just take these three surahs, I mean Surah Al-Fajr, Surah Shams, and sorry, Surah Balad and Surah Shams. So if we just go back and just have a summary into our minds, that in Surah Al-Fajr there were three behaviors are mentioned. I mean, the disbelievers. I mean, the mindset of the three disbelieving attitude. One, who are strong, just like Ad. The second, who are skillful, just like Thamud. And the third, who are having the wealth, just like the Pharaoh. So in the Surah Al-Bal, their destination has been mentioned, that they will be, their place will be alayhim narun mu'sada. And also the other group, the different group, that is the group of the believers. I mean, with the watawasub bil sabr watawasub bil marhama. I mean, they have the quality of not following the sabr or rahma, but rather they also advise others as well. So here comes Surah Shams. It's really important when we look at the Surah Shams and its coordination with the previous surahs. Inshallah, when we'll be exploring its subjects and its interpretation, this will help us while making its coordination, its a sequence with the previous two surahs. So let's have an introduction, just as a formal, we can say, practice, that what is the Surah Shams and how many verses are there. So if you could just look at Surah Shams, we know that the Shams is the word in Arabic is being used for the sun. So just like having Sawaya with the Balad, with having Sawaya with the Fajr. So here the in the first verse of the surah, there is the swear of Allah by the swear of by Allah, with the name of the source of the sun, with the name of the Shams. And this surah, being placed in the 91 number of the written pattern, but according to the revelation, because we know that it's a Makki surah, so its number is 26. So it could be, we can say, it is again among those surahs who are being considered the initial time period, when the time was very crucial for the Muslims, and that the time was very difficult for the Prophet ﷺ to make the people of the Makkah convinced about the teachings of the Allah Almighty and the teachings of the Quran. So if you look at these verses of the surah, there are 15 verses in this surah, and they basically deals with two main themes. I mean, just I mean, we can say the one story is being mentioned, and the two main themes are being there. One theme is about the emphasizing that washamsi wa duha wal qamri dhatullah wal nari dha jallaha wal layli idha yakhshaha wal samai wa ma banaha wal ardi ma duhaha wal nathi ma sawaha. So here, after making so many severe, and if we just count how many severe these are, I mean, the one with Washams, the two wal Qam, three wal Nahar, four wal Layl, and the Layl, again, the wal Layl, not only the Layl also, but when it's being prevailed. Then was Sama, then wal Ard, then wal Nafsi ma sawa. I mean, taking the seven severe, the only thing is being mentioned after that. قد أفلح من ذكها وقد خاب من دساها. So this is the first theme of the surah, that Allah Almighty is saying, the one among you will be purified who kept his soul from the sins. So making we sequence with the previous surahs. In Surah Fajr, there's a detailed description of the disbelievers and their behavior and their type of mindset. Then in Surah Al-Balad, there is a description of the people who strive for this world. I mean, the people of the Aqaba, and how their characters demonstrate differently. And then in this surah, their destination has been mentioned, that it's a coordination. And if you make your qad aflam and dakaha, and if you are the among those who are the people of the Aqaba, just like in the Surah Balad, so you will be, I mean, qad afla, you will get a success, you will be successful. But qad haba man darsaha, but you will be in the loss when you basically not purified, you have basically spoiled, you have corrupted it. So same goes with the verse numbers. I mean, the Surah Fajr, where the description of the different nations has been mentioned. But for the reminder, here is the second theme comes after these descriptions. I mean, the 7 or 8 verses, there's a description of the nation of the Thumud. And we know that these are the Thumud Thumud al-Ula, who are basically the Prophet Saleh has been sent to this nation. And they were being given an ayah from Allah Almighty in the form of the female camel, and they basically killed that female camel, and later on they received the anger of the Allah Almighty. So it looks like why Allah Almighty has killed a whole nation just to slaughter a camel, but there was a philosophy behind their punishment and being earned the anger of Allah. So inshallah we'll be exploring that these people have earned the anger of Allah, the people of the Samud, because Prophet Saleh has asked him not to kill this, but in spite of not, his advice, they killed him. So let's start the surah one by one and exploring its subject. Well, first we can just go that washamsi wa duhaha. Just I will just go with the first of all that the translation, then we'll be inshallah exploring the explanation of the first part. So washamsi wa duhaha. The sun. Allah is taking the severe. I'm severe of the what, the sun and its brightness. Then wal qamri idha tullaha, the laha, and the moon, how it's being followed. And we know that they alter each other, they follow each other. Sometimes the sun follows the moon, and then in the morning time, then after that the moon follows the shams in the night times. Then one nahari idha jallaha, and the day as it bring it to the light. After coming out the shams and giving its light, then there is a brighter day. Then walayli ida yakhsha, and also there will be the darkness of the night when it prevails. Then wasamai wama banaha, and also Allah Almighty is taking the surveyor of the heavens, and who constructed it, who made it, who built it. Then walardi wama tohaha, and the earth, and who basically spread it. When it's come to the question of the sama, it's basically being established, it's basically being made. But when it comes to the question of the earth, it's basically being spread out, how it has been spread it out for the human being. Then, after taking all these severe, Almighty is basically coming to the real point, that is one nafsima sovaha. Uh, who and the soul. The one who is successful. Sorry, one nafsima sovaha, again the severe. The surveyor of the soul of the nafs, who has basically, we can say, made it, who has basically established the soul into the human body. And then فَأَلْحَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَى, and the soul, after being created by Allah Almighty, is not being left to do whatever that soul can will, but that well, فَأَلْحَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. The soul has been given the true path. And if we just recently we have covered surah Balad, where there's mentioned that وَهَدَيْنَهُ نَجَدَيْن, he has been given two ways. So here we can say فَأَلْحَمَهَا is basically linked with the وَهَدَيْنَهُ نَجَدَيْن, that he has been shown two ways of the what, of the ways of the fujur and the ways of the taqwa. This najadan can be the way of the fujur, the way of the sinners, and taqwaha, and the way of the righteous people, or the way of the taqwa, people having taqwa. And after guiding the soul, Almighty is mentioning the, now the responsibility of the man is the what, kad aflaha man dhakkaha. Manzaka, the one who has purified his soul, is successful. But on the other hand, he will be the people of the Maimuna. He will be the Ashab al Maimuna. But the what goes with the other group? وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, and the one who destroy it, the one who the one who corrupted it, he is basically being failed. The khaba is basically used for the, we can say, in the context of the failure. And the one who basically has corrupted it, he has basically failed into completing his purpose of this life. So, first of all, if we look at the Washamsi wa Duha, according to the classification, or we can say the classical definition or the classical interpretation of the Tabi'in, according to Mujahid, he says that here the light, Washamsi wa Duha, here the light of the sun is being given in this verse, and its brightness is basically the mean of Allah by taking this away, or it means the whole light of the day. But according to Ibn Jarir, he said that the correct explanation is that Allah swear by the sun and its day. I mean, it's basically being given the sun, which basically brings the day, because the clear light of the day means the daytime. And he also Ibn Jarir explains that, and by the moon it follows is basically the time of the night. And according to again the Mujahid, he says that the moon as it follows the daylight. I mean, the moon is when it is being followed by the day, or the day night is followed by the moon as well by the night. So Al-Afi, according to the Tabi'in Afi, he says that the authority of Ibn, I mean, he basically mentioned by the companion of the Prophet, that is Ibn Abbas, that it means when the daylight is followed by the moonlight. So and the Qatada said when the moon follows it, and the night when there is a new moon. So it is basically, according to Qatada, he basically differentiate a new opinion that it's basically when the new moon is being sighted. So it here Almighty is basically mentioning Wal-Qamri Dhatullah towards the to the first half of the month. So he's I mean, here they also giving the explanation by Ibn Zayd. He said that the moon follows the sun in the first half of the month, while the sun follows the moon in the second half of the moon. So same we can say that this is being logic as being used, that it is basically the 15 months of the moon, and the 15 days of the moon of the month, and the 15 days of the sun as well. Okay, the Imam Malik as follows: the moon is the second half of the moon. I mean, according to Imam Malik, he narrates that on the authority of Zayd ibn Aslam, the Sahabi of the Prophet ﷺ, he says when the moon follows the sun on the night of the Qadr. So he basically has given a different opinion. He says it's basically the night of the Qadr, night of the Laylatul Qadr. So it is according to the Mujahid when the moon illuminates on the night of the Qadr. But according to Qatada said that when it is the sun is overwhelmed by the day. I mean, but there is the full light of the day. And Ibn Jarir says that some of the scholars of the Arabic language said that the verse means by the day when it overcomes, and the darkness by mentioning the moon. So he says, if those who say that this meant by the day as it overcomes through the earth, and it would have been more correct, and according to Ibn Jarir opinion, that confirms the words of the Allah on as well. So it could be we can say the different opinions of the Sahaba. Okay, Ibn Jarir says that I mean, wasama wa ma banaha, oh sorry, the walayli za yaksha wa nari dhatullaha. So he says that it is this in the second or the third verse, it refers again to the sun and the moon as well. So he says that the night when it overcomes the sun, and when it sets and the horizon is plunged into the darkness in the night time, in the time of the moon. But according to Ibn Hathim, relates when the night comes, the Rabb Allah Almighty, our Prophet says, my great creation has overcome my slave. I mean, the night has overcome the slave. But then they fear the night, and the creator is more deserving of their fear. I mean, they are fearing of the night, but the creator is the more deserved to be the fear, to having the fear. And the heaven, I mean, wasamai wama banaha, here the explanation has been given by the Qatada. He said that the correct interpretation of this verse, I mean, wasamai wama banaha, and is that, and when the heaven and its construction has been made by the Almighty. So he says that it means that, and by the heaven and him who has built it. I mean, the Almighty has created these heavens, and how his methodology and how his method or the process is being involved. So he says that the both meaning, I mean, the time of the night, day, and the establishment of the sky, or it's a process when the sky was being established. He says that the both meanings are we can say refer to each other. They I mean, they also have given the reference of the Azwariyat, and I mean the verse number 87 to 83, that was samai vama بنيناها بأيد وإنها لموسعون. I mean, the heavens, Allah Almighty is saying, we have created it and we have overpowered it. والأرض فرشناها فنعم الماهدون. And we are able to extend it. I mean, the power of extending the sama, or the sky. And when we talk, Allah Almighty is saying, والأرض فرشناها فنعم الماهدون, and we spread the earth, how excellent it is being spread it out. So it could be, we can say, being explained by the other ayah of the Quran regarding the wasamai wama binaha, regarding the interpretation of this ayah. Okay, likewise, I mean, say he said that the earth and the wal ardi wama tohaha, and I mean, the both verses wasamai wama binaha wal ardi wama tohaha. So same case, he says that the Arabic word taha used in the verse in the same as the duha, and the shamsi wa duha wal kamri idatullah. So here the duha is also being giving the spreading something. We know that is also being used in the surah ad-duha, where the coming out of the spreading of the morning time has been taken as a swear. Okay, according to the Tabi Al Auf, he says that the authority, I mean, he gets basically giving the reference of Ibn Abbas, and he says that the verse means by the earth and him who has created. I mean, he says that here it doesn't mean the how the earth has been spread it out, rather it says that it is basically by the earth and the creator of the earth. And according to Ali Ibn Talha, says that also on the authority of Ibn Abbas, I mean the same reference for Ibn Abbas, that the word Taha means qasama, I mean the proportion, how its proportion has been given to this material world, and however the majority of the scholars, we can say, they agree with the first tafsir that it is basically about the spreading of the earth as well. Okay, then we can say that it is about when it comes to wal ardi ma tuha wa nafsi ma sawaha. I mean, here the meaning of the creating the soul and who has proportioned it, who has made it. So here it is being we can say the fitra of the nature, or the nature of the human being, has been mentioned in this verse and the following verses as well. And for that, if you could just look at Brother Jamal, would you like to add something?
Yeah, there is somebody who asked a question in the comments. I don't know if this person is a Muslim or a non-Muslim or whatever, but why does it take so long to explain these simple verses? I mean, it's not taking so long. I mean, the our teacher here is explaining it clearly. Maybe if you're not a non-Muslim, maybe we can engage in dialogue. You and me. I'm always giving da'wah to. I'm always discussing with non-Muslims. Or if you find that it's taking so long, I don't think it is, because, like, I'm sitting down and listening to it, and I know that it's going on fine. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, so carry on, Dr. Farhat.
Jazakallah khair. If I mean, if anyone is asking why these simple verses are being explained, so we know that these simple verses are being explained by the classical interpreters, by the different companions and the different tabi'in in the very different perspectives. So we are just giving a picture of the explanation of the verses, that how it has been interpreted by the classical interpretation or the classical interpreters. But if you're talking about I mean, I don't know what your question is. If you are just would like
Yeah,
to ask something
I
about
didn't I didn't
that, what is
understand the
the
question. I didn't understand the
philosophy,
question.
what is the
And
philosophy of explaining. So I just as I mentioned that this I mean, this series of the talk is basically about explaining the words of the Quran. So when we are saying the explanation of the Quran, we basically gives the explanation of the Quran based on the classical interpretation. Just as I mentioned, we basically consult the classical tafsir. So when we say the classical tafsir, so the first hand audience who basically received this Quran from the Prophet and from the Allah Almighty, how they interpreted it, how they perceived it. So their opinion can be matter, but definitely we have to reveal, we have to give a whole picture of the just a simple verse. You can say it a simple verse, but it is the kalam of Allah, it is the words of Allah. So when we say
Yeah.
there is a simple verse, it's not the simple words, rather it's basically having an ocean of knowledge into it. So we are just
Can I
exploring that ocean. Yes.
Yeah, can I just add also that, these verses have been explained by different exegetes. Yeah, that's why the teacher is going into the different exegetes what they said. If you're a Muslim, you'll understand that. But like I said, if you're not a Muslim, then I don't think you'll understand it. But there are different exegetes there. We're going through a book where you have different exegetes that are explaining it, and they're giving their version of what they understand by it, what the Prophet ﷺ explained about it. So it's not taking so long. We have to take long. I'm a non-Muslim. I'm just confused why she's quoting so many different people, because there are so many different people who actually mentioned about it. You see, they mentioned about it. They gave all these are exegetes that she's actually mentioning. You see, she's actually mentioning the exegetes that wrote about it, that mentioned that this means that and that means that, and because everything is not black and white. Our Prophet, peace be upon him, gave us different versions of different things. But anyway, our teacher knows more about it, so she can explain it. Anyway,
Jazakumullah khair. Yes, if you're non-Muslim, then definitely I would like to explain it in a detail that whenever you are attending a class, the teacher gives a simple sentence and a simple theory. But all the students, whether they are the 10 students, 50 students, 60 students, all perceive it differently, but there is a coordination of the ideas in between them. So I'm just explaining that the coordination of the ideas of the first-hand knowledge being given to the companions and also the followers of the companions. So you might have observed that I have quoted the names as well, because these names are the either of the companions or are the followers of the companions, how they perceived, how they interpreted it. But at the end, there is a coordination in their ideas, in their interpretations. So when we look, when we are consulting any notes of the teacher, we will definitely go with the first hand knowledge. We definitely go with the first hand interpretation of who have attended the class. So this is what my we can say methodology, why I'm explaining a small words of Allah and how it has been explained. And since it's been the centuries that many people have worked on the interpretation of the Quran, and they did their work on the interpretation of the Quran. So there are thousands of the interpretation of these words, but the words have a coordination with each other. And just take the example of word wal ardi ma tuhaha. I mean the earth, or the when it has been spread it out. So we can see that all three or two or three opinions are having a coordination with each other. I mean it is about the earth, or we can say the world, and it's spreading out, and how Allah Almighty has spread it out. So it's basically having the coordination of the ideas of the all of the companions, either the companions or the followers of the companions. So hope your confusion has got a logical answer. Jazakumullah khair for asking the question. So we were at
yeah.
the was
Can I just add? Yeah, Nathaniel, as a non-Muslim, I thank you for attending our program. Maybe if you want to learn more about Islam, we can, yeah. There are books about it. We're coming. The teachers is going through the books. Yeah, there is a book by Ibn Kathir, and I'm reciting from the Tafsir of Sadi as well. We can talk about that afterwards. Like I said, at the moment, let us finish the show. Then afterwards, if you have some questions, we can go through it. In the book, it actually mentions these different narrations from these different people. But like I said, I thank you very much as a non-Muslim for attending my show. I I didn't know that non-Muslims were attending my show. Anyway, thank you very much. Carry on, Dr.
Okay, I'll be
Farhat.
just going quickly because we are left with 6 minutes. So it's basically the nafs ma sawaha, and the soul, and who basically has made the soul. So we know that the question of the soul is being the discussion of the philosophy from since the human development has taken place. So Allah Almighty has mentioned in the Surah Ar-Rum. I mean, the explanation of this verse can found in the other place of the Quran in the chapter Surah Rum and verse number 30 that فأقم وجهك للدين حنيفا فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها لا تبديل لخلق الله. So Allah Almighty is saying you should turn your face and you should make your center to the Lord, and who is the Allah, and the true religion of the Allah, للدين حنيفا, and the true deen of the true religion of the Allah, فطرة الله التي فطر الناس. And there is a pattern, there is a fitra of Allah which cannot be changed. You will not see change in the fitra of Allah, in the creation of Allah. Just the example of the washamsi wa duha wal kamri zat Allah wa nari zat jallaha, you can see that they come after one another. So this is basically, you can say, referring the same over here as well. So there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ also explaining the same وَالنَّفْسِ مَا سَوَّاهَا, that everyone is born, and this is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that every child is born on the fitra, I mean, on the basic nature by the Allah Almighty. Then his parents make him into the Jew or a Christian or a fire worshipper. So, like the way an animal gives birth to a normal offspring, so do you not notice it, the multitude or the difference in their creation as well? So it is basically being said in the hadith or same in the verse of the Quran that Allah Almighty has same pattern for all, same creation. I mean, whether it's a creation of the man, that will be same, the creation of the animal, that would be the same. So every child is born on the fitra of Allah, on the deen of the Allah, fitra of Allah. But after coming into this world, he basically adopted the name of the Jew, Christian, or the fire worshipper. So this is basically the explanation of the one nafs ma sawaha. And according to it is narrated on the authority of Ayad ibn Himar al-Najashi that the messenger of Allah said, Allah says, verily I have created my slaves true, I mean, on the deen of Hanif. Then the devils come to them and distracted their minds from their true religion. So that means here the description of the true nature, the true fitra of the nature is being already there into the soul of the man is being mentioned. So then Allah Almighty is saying, وَنَفْسِ مَا سَوَاهَا فَأَلْحَمَهَا فَجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Then he has been shown the two ways. And the two ways we already have covered in the previous surah, that is Surah Al-Balad, هَدَيْنَهُ النَّجَدَيْنِ. And he has been given two ways. So there were the two ways of the right way and the wrong way. I mean, the path of the, we can say, correct, or the path of the wrong. So the path of the hidayah, path of the guidance, and the path of the darkness as well. So Allah Almighty is saying he has guided him to the two ways, the way of the transgression and the way of the piety, or the way of the correct people. And what had been ordained for him, I mean, this is basically being ordained for him. So here the interpretation of the companion of the Prophet ﷺ, Ibn Abbas, he said concerning these verses, I mean, وَنَفْسِ مَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْحَمَهَا فَجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا, he basically says that Allah Almighty, he showed him the good and the evil. We know this is good, this is bad, this is evil, this is right. So he says this is already there into the nerves, into the soul of the each human being, according to the interpretation of Ibn Abbas. Then the student of Ibn Abbas, Mujahid, Qatada, Dihaq, and Athori, these are the followers of the companions, and they agree with the opinion of Ibn Abbas that this is what has been mentioned or being interpreted by this surah, by this verse. So Ibn Zayd said that the verse means Allah has placed, I mean, this is another opinion of another companion, and he says here that Allah has placed in the soul good and evil. So the same goes with a slight difference in the idea, but the cognition of idea is already there. So he says Allah placed in the soul good and the evil. Then this opinion has been given by Ibn Jarir, the one of the narrator of the, we can say, tafsir or the tafsir sciences. He says on the authority of the Abu Aswad that Imran said to him, "Do you consider that the actions of the mankind and their strivings are the things which is preordained, I mean already written for them, or a thing which is only written after the message come to them from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when there will be an evidence against them? I mean, it is already ordained for them, or it is being ordained for them when the message is being coming to them." So he replied, "Verily, it is thing which has been preordained for them." I mean, everyone has his destiny or his path of guidance and the hidayah already being ordained for them. And Imran then said, is this not then the injustice that he had already, I mean, this is the question usually we also face by the other people, that that it is being written for me that I will be a disbeliever, then do you think it is not injustice? Then Abdul Aswad said, "I became terrified what he said, and said to him that there is nothing." I mean, this is was the answer of Abdul Aswad, that there is nothing that Allah has not created, nor anything which He does not possess, and He will not be asked about what He does, but they will be asked about it. I mean, we cannot ask a question about Allah that what He has created. Rather, we as a creation, we will be asked that we have been given a responsibility that we have to do this. I mean, we take the example that we have been given a job of 9 to 5, and we will not question the employer that why he is giving us these hours. I mean, we being an employee, we basically follow that. And he replied, "May Allah guide you. I only asked you about that in order to inform you that the man from Mudina or a Janain tribe came to the Prophet ﷺ and asked him, 'O Messenger of Allah, do you consider that the actions of the mankind and their strivings are the things which has been preordained for them and written for them for the qadar, or yani predestination, or something which has only been written for them after the message came to them?' Then the Prophet ﷺ when said that when there will be an evidence against them, I mean, is whether these actions will be made an evidence against them. He replied, Prophet replied, that verily it has been preordained for them. And the men asked, then what is the point of our action? I mean, if everything has been written, why should we perform action? So he replied, whoever Allah has created and destined for one of the two abodes, I mean the hell and the paradise, He paves the way to it for him, and then proof for that is the book of Allah, and by the soul and him who made it and showed him that wrong for him and right for him. So this is, we can say, the question of the predestination, that he already knew that what path he is going to choose, but still he allowed me to show him that this is the right path and this is the wrong path. Just like take the example of the kid who the parents know that what he is going to do, but still they show him the true path, so that on the day of judgment he will never be having, I mean, the believer or the servant will not be having the question that he has not been given the right path, so it was his action based on the wrong path. I guess we can just stop here because 1 hour has already finished. We're just left with last part, and that is the whole theme of the description of the Qawm al-Thamud. So we can just continue in the next class, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah. I just wanted to mention to Nathaniel there that the link that I sent you is the whole of the Quran. What we're doing is the last part of it. So if you want to download it, you have to come down to the last part of it. We've done quite a few of the books. We're coming to the end of this, whatever. But if you want to follow us, alhamdulillah, I'm very happy that somebody else is benefiting from it. And if you keep in touch, send me a message in the comments, and I can send you my email, and we can keep in touch or whatever. I'm a student of knowledge myself, and I have a doctor in Islamic sciences here, who's actually doing our class, so she can as well, if you need any help. And what I'd like to add as well, Dr. Farhat, is so we're reaching the end of this chapter as well. It's a short chapter, and inshallah we got another maybe 13. Is it 13 chapters to go before we finish this?
Inshallah.
So
Yes.
so I hope whoever's listening, whoever's watching, is benefiting from this, because I have learned a lot from the beginning to now. I have learned a lot from this, and inshallah we can carry on next week. If you've got your last words you want to say, Dr. Farhad, before we finish.
Yes, Jazakumullah khair for giving me an opportunity to learn and to share my knowledge, and also learning from this knowledge, and getting information for this delivering of the lecture. Inshallah, may Allah make it easier for us to understand it and to follow it. And if there is any mistake I have done in my lecture or in my interpretation, may Allah forgive me. And if there is anything I have said that is beneficial, may Allah make it easier for us to follow that. Jazakumullah khair.
Yeah, I'd like to say the same thing as well. If there's anything that I've said that is wrong, we're only humans, and we're students of knowledge. So please forgive us, and anything good that you got from it comes from Allah. So we'll see you next week, inshallah. And in the meantime, remember us in du'as. Like I said, I've got my exams coming, my exams and my assignments I got to hand in. So please make dua, and we'll see you next week, inshallah. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك سبحان ربك بالعزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, and we'll see you next week, inshallah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.